What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Kamaru Usman believes Alex Pereira has officially entered the conversation as one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Speaking after Alex's stunning knockout win over Magomed Ankalaev, Usman couldn't help but praise the way Pereira continues to deliver in the biggest moments. He said that Alex is special, pointing out how his defense isn't perfect and how his hands often stay wide, leaving openings to get hit. But the problem is, even if those openings are there, no one can seem to get through his firepower. To hit Alex, you have to walk straight into that danger zone, where one perfectly timed shot can end the fight in an instant. Usman explained how everyone has always talked about Alex's signature left hook, but this time it wasn't even the left. It was a clean right hand straight to the temple that stunned Ankalaev and completely changed the fight. For everything Ankalaev has accomplished, his wrestling, his grappling, his durability, Alex was able to shut him down and finish him in brutal fashion. Usman said this win was different because Ankalaev wasn't just another striker. He was a dangerous, well-rounded fighter, and Alex took him out with precision and power. According to Usman, everything critics have said about Alex in the past has now been answered. People questioned whether he could deal with a strong grappler. People wondered if he could keep evolving. And then he steps in and takes out Ankalaev in dominant fashion. Usman said this is the kind of win that plants a flag and makes a statement. It's not just another title defense. It's a legacy moment. He added that Alex has now solidified himself among the best we've ever seen in the division. Even with the defensive flaws that everyone points out, his ability to adapt, his timing, and his knockout power make him a nightmare for anyone at light heavyweight. For Usman, Alex Pereira isn't just a champion. He's building one of the greatest resumes in the history of the division. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Charles Oliveira has shared who he believes is the best fighter in the UFC right now, and his answer has caught a lot of attention. Without hesitation, Charles said it's Merab. He explained that Merab has been doing an incredible job inside the octagon, and that he genuinely enjoys watching him fight. His relentless pace, constant pressure, and unmatched cardio have made him one of the most feared fighters in the bantamweight division, and in Oliveira's eyes, that makes him the best at the moment. When asked about the best Brazilian fighter in UFC history, Charles took a moment to think, showing how much that question means to him. Brazil has produced so many legends over the years, and for someone like Oliveira, who's carried the flag himself, that kind of question goes deep. Even though he didn't give a specific name in that moment, the pride in his expression said it all. He was then asked about the best knockout he has ever seen in the UFC, and his immediate answer was Max Holloway. That response didn't surprise many fans, since Max is known for delivering highlight reel performances and incredible striking showcases inside the cage. When it came to submissions, Oliveira smiled and said, "Mine." A confident but honest answer from the fighter who holds the record for the most submissions in UFC history. He also added that no one will ever do it like he has done, clearly proud of the legacy he's built through years of hard work and dedication. Finally, when asked about the best fight in UFC history, Charles referenced a specific bout that has stuck with him for years. It was a fight that played on the arena screen before the event started, showing a wild war where both fighters went all out. He remembered how incredible it was to watch them pushing each other to the limit. It was the kind of fight that gets fighters signed to the UFC, the kind of battle that inspires future champions. For Charles, Merab stands out as the best right now, but it's clear that his love for the sport runs deep, from knockouts to submissions to legendary wars inside the cage. Moving on to another news, the featherweight division is absolutely on fire right now. With so many rising stars and big names already in the mix, Daniel Cormier has decided to play matchmaker for the top 5 fighters. Yair Rodriguez and Diego Lopes are two names that immediately come to mind. Their rivalry is personal and intense, and according to DC, a fight between them would not only bring massive attention, but could also determine the next #1 contender. DC believes that this matchup makes perfect sense both for the fans and the division's future. Meanwhile, Lone Murphy has put himself in a prime position after his huge knockout win over Aaron Pico. With an undefeated record, Murphy is now the heavy favorite to get the next title shot against Alex Volkanovski. DC explained that Murphy has done everything right to earn this opportunity, and that this matchup would be explosive. On top of that, Youssef Zal has now officially broken into the top 10 after a strong winning streak, adding even more excitement to an already stacked division. DC didn't hold back on criticizing Movsar Evloev either. He called him out for inactivity and said the perfect matchup for him would be Zal. According to DC, Evloev needs to stay active because a fighter of his caliber can't afford long breaks. Zal's slick grappling style would test Evloev in interesting ways. But let's not forget, Evloev's grappling has already been proven at the highest level. He has beaten top-level grapplers like Aljamain Sterling and Diego Lopez, both known for their dangerous ground games. His most recent win came in December 2024 against Sterling, showing once again why he remains undefeated. Cormier explained that his ideal matchmaking would look like this. Title shot, Alex Volkanovski versus Lone Murphy. Co-main or number one contender, Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. And then, Movsar Evloev versus Youssef Zal to determine the next in line. DC emphasized that if Zal beats Evloev, he earns a massive push toward a title shot. But if Evloev wins again, there's no denying him anymore. With that kind of resume, he would have to be next in line. As for Aljamain Sterling, DC sees him as the backup fighter. If anything happens to the main event or top contenders, Sterling would be ready to step in. With the division this deep, every fight counts and every win matters. This is why DC's matchmaking is getting so much attention. The featherweight division is stacked like never before, and the next few months could shape its future. Moving on to another news, Israel Adesanya just had one of the funniest fan encounters you'll hear about. While sitting inside a taxi, the driver suddenly recognized him, but it didn't go quite the way anyone expected. The driver confidently said he knew exactly who Israel was and called him a famous UFC fighter. But then, with a serious face, the driver said the name, Iggy Azalea. Israel couldn't help but laugh at the mix-up. He turned to the driver and asked, "Wait, who did you think I was?" The driver repeated himself, insisting he meant the well-known MMA fighter. "Iggy Azalea," he said, trying to correct his pronunciation but making it even funnier. Israel shook his head and said, No, wrong guy. Sorry, bro." The driver immediately apologized, clearly embarrassed, and both ended up laughing it off. The short clip quickly spread across social media, with fans cracking up at the hilarious mix-up. It's not every day that a former UFC champion gets mistaken for a pop star inside a random taxi ride. Israel took it in stride, showing once again why he's one of the most charismatic personalities in the sport. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman and Justin Gaethje made a surprise appearance in the upcoming movie The Naked Gun, starring Liam Neeson. Usman shared behind-the-scenes footage that showed both fighters rehearsing their fight scene for the film. The atmosphere on set was light, with the two UFC stars clearly enjoying the moment as they got ready for the cameras. Usman was seen getting his makeup done, preparing for the shoot while laughing with the crew and coaches. In the background, Justin was warming up, shadowboxing and hyping up the energy before stepping into the scene. "Got a real audience," someone on set said as the crew gathered around to watch the rehearsal. After wrapping up the fight sequence, Usman joked around, saying he just missed Justin enough. He kept the energy playful, adding, "I'm the champ. Justin's the challenge." The behind-the-scenes clip showed their natural chemistry and how easily both fighters slipped into their acting roles. Fans were quick to react online, excited to see two of MMA's most respected names stepping into Hollywood. This scene has already created a buzz, and their crossover moment is set to bring even more attention to the film when it hits theaters. Moving on to another news, a never-before-seen angle of the infamous brawl between Khamzat and Khabib's cousin has shocked the MMA community. This footage, recorded years ago, gives a completely different perspective on a moment that nearly turned into a massive incident. In the original clips, all eyes were on Khamzat attacking Abubakar and the chaos breaking out around the cage. But this new angle focuses entirely on Khabib's reaction as everything unfolded. As the fight started to escalate, Khabib could be seen climbing up the cage. He stopped halfway, staring down at Khamzat from above with intense focus. For a moment, it looked like he was about to jump down into the chaos. He hesitated, holding himself back, clearly making a choice not to escalate the situation further. He was only a few feet away and the tension was sky high. When Khabib briefly turned his head, he could see Abubakar shouting curses at Khamzat, and it became obvious to him how serious the situation was. This moment shows just how close things came to blowing up completely. With Khabib being one of the most respected figures in the sport, his involvement would have turned that heated altercation into a full-blown brawl. People familiar with the Caucasus culture know how deep loyalty runs there. If one person fights, their brothers and friends stand with them. This is why it's so wild to realize we were literally seconds away from seeing Khabib himself jump into that brawl with Khamzat. Fast forward to now, and Khamzat's fighting future is once again in the spotlight. He's expected to face either Nassourdine Imavov or the winner of RDR versus Brendan Allen at UFC Vancouver. RDR himself recently broke down how things might play out. He explained that he wanted to stay on this card because he believes there's a real chance to fight Khamzat before Ramadan. Ramadan falls in February, and Khamzat traditionally fights before the holy month begins. RDR revealed that there were talks about pushing the fight with Fluffy Hernandez to a later date, but there was uncertainty about Fluffy being ready in time. Instead, RDR decided to find a new opponent and keep working so he could earn his shot against Khamzat in January. He knows the stakes are high. He pointed out how Fluffy and Brendan had already faced each other, with Brendan nearly finishing Fluffy late in the fight. Neither was able to put Brendan away, which adds even more intrigue to the potential matchup. If RDR can put on a dominant performance, the path to facing Khamzat becomes much clearer. What once was nearly a massive cage-side brawl years ago could now lead to one of the biggest fights on the horizon. The tension, the history, and the timing all make this situation one of the most closely watched in MMA right now. Moving on to another news, Josh Thompson has shared his honest take on the upcoming lightweight matchup between Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot. According to him, a lot of people are seriously underestimating Charles ahead of this fight. The talk around the MMA world has been that Charles is returning too quickly after that brutal knockout loss to Ilya just a few months ago. But Thompson believes Oliveira still has all the tools needed to silence the doubters and make a strong statement. Gamrot brings a relentless chain wrestling style to the octagon, the kind of pressure that breaks opponents. Stylistically, this matchup is shaping up to be a fast-paced, grappling heavy war that will keep fans on the edge of their seats. Both men love to push the pace, create scrambles, and keep chaos alive inside the cage. For Oliveira, this fight isn't just about getting back into the win column, it's about proving he's still a major threat in the division. He even has plans to call out Max Holloway for the BMF belt if he pulls off a big win here. Gamrot, however, is not an easy opponent. He's already earned a strong reputation after defeating Arman, and a win over Charles would send a clear message that he's a serious title contender. Beating Oliveira would be more than just another win. It would catapult Gamrot right into the top tier of the lightweight division. Thompson pointed out that many people are writing Charles off too soon. He reminded everyone of how dangerous Charles is on the ground. When Arman fought him, he had to defend submission after submission and work hard just to survive those moments. Even then, Oliveira showed why he's considered one of the best finishers in the sport. His striking is crisp, his grappling is lethal, and his pace is unmatched. Gamrot has excellent wrestling, no doubt about that. But Thompson made it clear that Oliveira holds the advantage in striking and submissions. The big question is whether Gamrot can avoid those dangerous positions long enough to implement his wrestling. Thompson also pointed out that Gamrot tends to get a little chinny at times, which could be a huge opening for Charles to capitalize on. Even though the quick turnaround raises some concerns, Thompson leans toward Oliveira in this matchup. In his view, Charles is the better striker, the more dangerous submission artist, and has more ways to finish the fight. Gamrot will bring pressure and pace, but if he makes even one mistake, Oliveira can end it in an instant. This fight has all the ingredients to be a war, and Thompson believes Charles still has what it takes to rise back to the top. Moving on to another news, Danis recently appeared on Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel and made a bold claim that immediately caught everyone's attention. Dylan looked straight at DJ and said he's made more money than all of DJ's UFC title fights combined. DJ laughed and didn't seem to fully buy it, but Dylan doubled down on his statement, making it clear he's not joking around about the money he's bringing in right now. Dylan explained that at this moment in his career, he's making a lot of money, far more than people realize. He said it's not just from fighting, but also from gambling and sponsorships. According to him, when you have the name and the kind of attention he brings, platforms like DAZN pay extremely well. DJ wanted to get specific and asked him if he was talking six figures, maybe 250 or 350, or possibly even 850. Dylan refused to give an exact number, but confidently said it's higher than that, leaving DJ a bit surprised by how much he claims to be making. DJ then asked a logical follow-up. If Dylan is really making that kind of money outside the UFC, why would he even want to sign with the UFC? He pointed out that once you enter the UFC, they cut into everything: your sponsorship deals, your freedom, and your ability to negotiate outside opportunities. Dillon agreed that this was true and acknowledged how the business works. He admitted that joining the UFC isn't a smart move if it's just about the money, because the restrictions are real. But for Dillon, the motivation goes beyond the paychecks. He said that at the end of the day, when he's on his deathbed, he'll already have the money, the fame, and everything else, but what will matter most to him is knowing that he tried to prove himself. For him, it's about legacy and proving how good he really is as a fighter. He wants to step inside the octagon and show everyone that he's more than just a name making headlines outside the UFC. Throughout the conversation, DJ remained skeptical, but also curious about how Dillon built this financial success without major MMA accomplishments. Dillon stood firm, saying fighting and gambling have paid him well, and that he's in full control of his career right now. Whether people believe him or not, Dillon seems determined to leave a mark in the fight game on his own terms, both financially and in legacy.